Hello, kindergartners. I wanted to read you this book, The Noisy Paintbox, about Vasily Kandinsky's life. I had promised Ms. Reddycop's class that we would read this, and we never got a chance to. So here you go. The Noisy Paintbox, Colors and Sounds of Kandinsky's Abstract Art. Vasya Kandinsky spent his days learning to be a proper Russian boy. He studied bookfuls of math, science, and history. He practiced piano scales to the marching click of the metronome. He sat stiff and straight at dressed-up dinners while the grown-ups talked and talked and talked. Vasily's well-off world was perfectly polite until the day his aunt gave him a small wooden paintbox. Every proper Russian boy should appreciate art, said Auntie. She showed Vasily the correct way to mix colors on the paintbox palette. Vasily mixed red with yellow, then he mixed red with blue, and the colors changed. Vasily heard a whisper, hiss. Louder, hiss. Then louder still, hiss. What's that sound? Asked Vasily. I don't hear a thing, said Auntie. Vasily listened as his brush stirred and swished. The swirling colors trilled like an orchestra tuning up for a magical symphony. Mama, Papa, called Vasily, what a noisy paintbox. Silly Vasily, said Papa. Stop being foolish, said Mama. Vasily painted the sound of the colors. He spun a bright lemon circle onto the canvas. It clinked like the highest notes on the keyboard. He brushed a powerful navy rectangle that vibrated deeply like the lowest cello string. He tossed up jagged swashes of blaring crimson and added cheerful dots of burbling green, clanging orange, and tinkling violet. Vasily painted and painted until the colors went quiet. Look what I made, shouted Vasily. Is it a house? Asked Auntie. Is it a flower? Asked Mama. What's it supposed to be? Asked Papa. It's music, said Vasily, waltzing his painting around the house. Calm down, said Mama. Do some math, said Papa. Heavens, said Auntie, this boy needs a proper art class. So Vasily went to art class and learned to draw houses and flowers just like everybody else. As the years passed, Vasily finished school and studied to be a lawyer. He ignored his noisy paintbox and lived the way people expected. But Vasily couldn't ignore the sounds of the colors singing to him in the streets of Moscow. The canary-colored mailbox whistling as he rode to work. The scarlet sunset haze ringing above the ancient Kremlin walls. An ivory chorus of snowflakes scattered on the sable collar of his overcoat. One evening, suitably steamed and starched, Vasily attended the opera. As the orchestra's music crashed around him, the colors of the noisy paint box twirled wildly in his mind. Stomping lines of vermilion and coral, caroling triangles in pistachio and garnet, thundering arches of aqua and ebony with shrill points of cobalt and saffron. Vasily heard the colors singing. Vasily saw the music dancing. I just want to stop for a moment and point out that those were fancy words for different colors. Scarlet or garnet is like a red. Pistachio is like a green. Cobalt is a kind of blue. Saffron is a kind of yellow. So those are fancy words for different colors. Kind of like when you look at your Crayola crayons, how sometimes they have fancy names. Vasily was never quite as proper again. He quit his job teaching law and moved from Moscow to Munich to be a painter. He studied with his famous teacher, then that one. Is it a house? Is it a flower? What's it supposed to be? His teachers would say. Vasily wanted to paint the colors he heard, but maybe the famous teachers knew best. Once again, Vasily put houses and flowers, animals and people into his paintings, just like everyone expected. The teachers were happy. Vasily was not. His artist friends understood. They too were tired of painting pretty landscapes and pretty ladies. They thought art needed to change. Art should make you feel, Vasily told them, like music. Exactly, said his friends, but none of them knew how to paint feelings until the day Vasily grew brave enough and invited the world to see the paintings roaring from his noisy paint box. Hiss, rattle, blash, whistle, zip, clang. Snapping cerulean points, crunching crimson, red squares, whispering charcoal, black lines. Vasily named these paintings after the music he loved: improvisation, composition, accompaniment, fugue, movement, and simply 3 sounds. With his noisy paint box, Vasily Kandinsky created something entirely new: abstract art. So improvisation and composition and accompaniment and fugue, those are titles often given to musical compositions. And abstract, we talked about what abstract art is. Abstract art, remember, is when it's not a picture of something recognizable, like a house or a person or a flower, but yet it's all about the colors, the lines, the shapes, the forms, the feelings. It took a long time for people to understand abstract art. Is it a house? Is it a flower? What's it supposed to be? It's my art, Vasily answered. How does it make you feel? Here are some examples of Vasily's paintings. We've looked at this one together briefly. We looked at some other ones at the very beginning of the year when we were learning all about line and color. Okay. So that is the Noisy Paint Box about the life and the abstract art of Vasily Kandinsky. I hope you enjoyed it.